Good morning. Good morning. You will notice that this is still in the same spot that it was when I did my office clean out many weeks ago at this point. Hi, my name's Heather. I'm a homeschooling mom of 3 kids, elementary, middle, and high school age. Today is my monthly reset where I'm going to be going through goal planning, financial planning, home management, some random projects that I have to work on, redoing our family calendar, all of that stuff. If you're not subscribed, I would love for you to hit the subscribe button and the notification bell so you are notified of all of my future videos. Yes, so today's going to be a vlog. I've been doing a planning day or a monthly reset for years at this point. I set aside one day each month at the end of the month. It's usually the 4th Thursday of the month that I set aside as my reset day, and it's where I will work on my goal planning for the next month, look and see where I'm at for the current month. I will work on my homeschool planning. I will work on my budgeting. I will do our family calendar, my personal calendar, and get all of that stuff set up. It does not mean that I spend a full day planning. Sometimes I will spend a couple of hours, especially if I am working on homeschool curriculum and making sure that we have everything ready for the next month. But yes, it's also the end of 2022. I know when this video goes live, it's going to be pretty much the end of January. I'm going to take you with me as I do my monthly reset. You already saw me getting up super early this morning. I've mentioned this many times. I do not set an alarm. So when I wake up is when I get up, and I actually woke up even earlier than 4 a.m. this morning. Sometimes I just wake up and I try to lay down and go back to sleep, but for the most part, once I'm awake, I'm awake. So I'd rather be productive and get going on my day than just lay in bed. So this morning I worked on my Bible and my planning and for the day, writing down everything that I want to work on today. And then I also did some reading. I'm reading a great book by David Sachs called The Future is Analog. The chapter that I was reading today was all about education, and I actually took many notes about things that I seriously disagreed with the author on. He was basing his experience with COVID schooling and virtual schooling and all of that stuff, and education in general. And I thought that it was unfortunate that he never got a true homeschool perspective in that book, because I think that he was on the right track as far as education and learning and social experiences, etc. But some of the things that he said about, you can't learn at home and you need a quiet, safe space to do your learning, and it was just it was just funny to me as a home educator. But that is, beside the point. I am really enjoying the book. It's a lot about what happened when everything shut down. And yeah, it's really an interesting look at life. So I need to get going on the day, get my stuff set up. I spent some time printing out some of these Budget Mom printables from her workbook, because I have been working on a lot of financial planning. End of year is when I tend to recap all of my budget categories and look at where our money went and trying to prepare for the new year. I've been thinking about a no spend challenge. I may have mentioned it in another video at this point. I'm trying to figure out how I'd like to do a no spend challenge. I'd like to do like a local purchasing challenge where I'm only buying local stuff. Not sure how realistic it is, and I think I'm gonna have to do it like on a month-by-month basis. We're going to start the day. The kids don't want to eat yet. I feel like I need more coffee. So my first step for my monthly reset is usually doing my personal calendar. Now, if you saw my 2023 planner stack, you will know that I'm not going to be using my weekly life planner. I am going to be using a home planner for home management, and then I'm planning on using a 7x9 daily duo from Erin Condren for like my personal daily, monthly goals, all of that stuff. We'll see how it goes. I've been using a weekly Erin Condren planner since 2014, 2013, 2014, and the vertical planner. And but this past, like for about a year and 3 months maybe, I've been using an A5 daily planner from Erin Condren, which I really, really like. I like the time blocking. I like that I can have a to-do list every day. But that monthly calendar is not big enough for all of my personal stuff, as well as my monthly dashboard pages in the A5 are not big enough for all of my goal stuff. So all that to say, this is the first time I will be setting up my 7x9 daily duo. We will see how it goes. That's what I'm going to work on first. And I'm actually going to set up my goals first. It's so hard when you start a new year to where exactly you want to start and how much time you're actually going to have to work on the things. I have to also remember that we're going to be getting back into homeschool in January. We've been off since Thanksgiving. I'm implementing some new home management systems, some new budgeting things that are going to take time, and implementing that kind of stuff does take a little bit of time on the front end until it really becomes a habit, and then it becomes more automatic and you find more efficient ways to do things, and you're not having to like check a checklist to make sure that you've done steps A, B, and C. So I may end up planning too much for January, but we'll see how it goes. I have some ideas. I just need to get them down on paper. So that's what I'm going to do first. I really just need to work on is this part of my dashboard. And what I've done the past few months is have a weekly focus, and then over here I like to have a watching section. And I don't actually have anything right now that I'm thinking about watching in January. I will have to go online and see if there are any new shows or new movies that are coming out, and then I will fill this in. But there's nothing like right at the top of my head that I want to make sure that I have on the calendar to watch. I don't watch a ton of TV, but some of the new movies I do like to watch with the kids or myself. There are a bunch of new movies coming out in 2023, I think, that I do really want to see, but I don't think they're in January. And then down here in this section, let me find a pen, is the to buy section. Now, I am planning on doing a no spend for 2023, but what I'm going to use this section for is the things that I am allowing myself to spend money on. And it's really just need type things, like we have a car repair this month that we have to pay for and have done. I have to get Jack a winter coat, and he needs that. Really, we should probably be buying that this weekend. He does have a winter coat. It's a little snug for him at the moment. So, and I haven't been able to find one in the size that he needs. So that's a little bit of a struggle. So in January, my main, the two things that I'm allowing myself to purchase are Jack's winter coat and the car repair. There's nothing else that we need to buy. If something else does come up, I will write it here, because I hope to share maybe, I don't know, monthly or quarterly how my no spend is going. We'll see. I might be totally unsuccessful, in which case I probably won't update you. but no, I do hope to keep myself accountable by doing that. Okay, and then for my weekly focus, the first week is going to be plan and prep homeschool and also declutter, because we are not starting school back until the 9th, which means homeschool rhythm is going to be the second week. Just getting back into it after having 6 weeks off. That is what it is. The third week in January, I think I'm going to try and focus on my PM routine the third week, and then I am going to spend the last week and a half, I think there's like 4.5 weeks in January maybe, on, again, decluttering. So I want to bookend my month with decluttering. I also have my planning day or my monthly reset at the end of the month, so I will put that as well. Now, this section here, I'm not sure how I'm going to use it. I have used it for tracking eggs, how many eggs we're getting each day in past months. I have used it to track how many rings I am completing on my Apple Watch. I'm not sure what I'm going to use this for this month, so I'm not going to set anything up right now. So my goals are done. Done. As done as I'm going to have them be at the moment. We'll see how January goes. I'm not sure if I put the right things down. We'll see. I did take off of my Q1 action plans the different items, but there may be more things that I want to get done. Some of the things that I wrote down may not take me nearly as long as I expect them to, in which case I will have more time. But I also don't want to plan for too many things and implement too many changes, because it's January and my main focus really needs to be getting back into a good homeschool rhythm after our long winter break, and making sure that the changes that I'm making in our homeschool rhythm are good, that they are good. Yes, so I do still have some more setup for my daily duo, but I can't find my sticker paper. I talked about this actually when I was doing my yearly setup. That video went up a few weeks ago, and I'm trying to add some mini monthly calendars to my daily duo, because they only have January through July, since it's a 6-month planner, and I really want January through December, so I can have a full year picture of things like vacations, days off, planning days, monthly reset days, whatever it is. And also for homeschool scheduling. I need to grab my teacher planner now and work on that a little bit, and just figure out, I think we're a little over 100 days, maybe 105 days. I need to make sure that I know how many days we have, so that I can figure out this new schedule that I want to do, which is going to be, I think, 6 weeks on, 1 week off, and maybe every other week, 4 days. It's going to push us later into the spring, but I think it might be helpful. And when I say 4-day weeks, every other day, 4-day weeks, it's 4 days of my work and 1 day of their work. So we're still doing school 5 days, but one of those days will be completely based on projects that they want to work on, and not all of the work that I require. I don't know if that's going to work or not. I need to sit down and work on that some now. Okay, so I just finished going through all of my homeschool stuff, which didn't really take me that long. I haven't actually gone through the content that we'll be doing in January. I am planning on doing the 6 weeks on, 1 week off, and I was just trying to figure out how many lessons the kids had left and how many days of school we have left to meet our requirement. So we only have 67 days left to meet our 175-day requirement. We do have a little bit longer than that for math and Spanish, partly because we have not done math. We haven't done our traditional curriculum over our winter break. Instead, we do projects and other unschooling type things, reading, well, we do reading every day. Anyways, they continue reading all of their books that they need to read for the year. So all of that stuff is caught up, but math for Jack and math and Spanish for Emma, they either will double up a couple of times a week, like Emma does that anyways with Spanish, so it's not going to be that different. Like if she does one day where she does 2 lessons of Spanish and one day where she does 2 lessons of geometry, or they will just finish up like a couple weeks later than the rest of the curriculum, which is also fine. It will just depend on how they're feeling and if they want to do the extra lessons. It doesn't bother me if they want to continue working on their school later into the spring. I roll over everything July 1st, but we're usually we'll be finished with our day count right at the beginning of April. And so they still have, 2.5 months of time where they can get all of their work done. So that's just how it works for us. Typically, we are right on track. This year, some of Emma's high school stuff has been a little bit more challenging, especially back and forth with the school. But I am pretty pleased with how things are going. I'm actually pleasantly surprised with where we are at with school. I think when I take a big break, I'm like, oh my gosh, how much are we missing by not schooling during the month of December? But actually, we are right on track because I plan and prep for it early. I should know this, but I always get a little nervous going back to school at the beginning of January. So anyways, that is where we are at now. I think I'm going to maybe make some food for myself and possibly look at my home planner. I don't really have too much that I need to put in the home planner because I'm only really using it for those weekly checklists and projects. My daughter's text messages are going. The group texts are crazy. Anyway, so I'm going to stop and get the dinging to stop as well. Okay, so I finished really looking through the homeschool curriculum stuff that I need to focus on when we start back in January on the 9th. This video obviously is coming up after I've started homeschooling again, but I'm pretty much ready. I think I'm really happy with how things are going, and I feel a lot better than I actually had when we were finishing up the first semester. I think it was just, all of that stress and busyness caught up to me, and so I couldn't really focus on all of the things that we had actually accomplished, which is one of the reasons that I sit down monthly and try and do like a recap and see where we are at, which I did do at the end of November, and we were where we needed to be so that we could take our break. I think that I was just so tired that I couldn't recognize all that we had done. So now I'm going to go through and write out some books that I might be coming out in January. I haven't even looked. I think I mentioned this maybe in my setup video for my book journal, that Goodreads has like a little section, like an explore section, and so it will show authors that you have read or have on your to be read lists in Goodreads. They will list any books that are coming out, new books by those authors by month. So I'm going to go in and see if there are any books that I do want to read that are coming out in January. I'm not sure. I also do want to just look in my reading journal from 2022 because I do have a few books that I had written down for future planning, but I don't think that they're going to be released until March, April, May timeframe. Continuations of series that I am in currently. So that's what I'm going to do right now. And then the only other thing that I have to do is work on the family calendar, but I think I'm actually going to wait until this weekend to do that. And it's just 11 o'clock, so I've gotten a ton of stuff done this morning. I'm really pleased. I think the kids have just been playing. They did like a makeup challenge where Lucy did Emma's makeup with her hands while she was standing behind her back. I don't know if you've seen those on YouTube or whatnot, but it's really funny. Anyways, yes, so I'm going to concentrate on books now. All right, so my last step today is actually going to be working on my budget binder. Now, if you saw my video last month where I was doing my yearly reset, I talked about, I started going through the home planner that I purchased specifically for home management and budgeting. I thought that I would also be able to use it for budgeting. So the reason that I thought that it would work is because it had these budget worksheets in the planner, and I did not look very closely at them. I just kind of saw all of the different categories, and I thought that it made sense, and that there would be the right categories for me to use. So when I sat down to do my budget for our next paycheck, I started going through the different categories to put down the things that we have to pay each month. And there were a lot of things that were just missing from this worksheet that I have to budget for. Lucy's singing. So I went through to try and do that. There are several miscellaneous lines, but I filled those up and I still had other items, and I didn't want to have to go through and white out a bunch of stuff to replace categories. So my new plan is to use the Dave Ramsey cash flow plan sheets to see if this works or not. Now, I used these when we did Financial Peace like 12, 14 years ago, and they worked really well. I remember back then there were also things that were not on here that we pay for. Things like utilities. We don't have gas up here. Well, we do, but you have to like purchase cans of it. We have oil, so I have to cross out gas and put oil, or pellets or wood or whatever we're using. And that annoys me. So I hate to print out something that is supposed to just be ready to go and then have to make a bunch of adjustments, which is probably why I've been using a spreadsheet for so long. So I'm going to try that. I have some other things that I've printed off from the Budget Mom and some other just random things. I printed out this bill payment schedule, which is actually in the home planner, but I have the printable version because I figure if I'm going to make a financial binder, it would make sense to have it in that. And so I'm going to punch those and put them in the binder, and then I'm going to try and go through and do my budget on these sheets to see if it works. If it doesn't, I'm just going to print out a copy of my spreadsheet that I continuously use and have a copy in the binder, and then have a copy just in Google Sheets or whatever it's called. Okay, so this is my little 1/4 inch binder. I have a debt snowball sheet from Dave Ramsey, yearly savings tracker from the Budget Mom. I don't know if I will use these. I'm not sure how to use them. Yearly savings goals and events. I'm not sure I'm not sure that I actually need them. That's the main thing. I mean, I do have financial goals, but I don't know if I necessarily need to write them on this. I have the bill payment schedule. This is from my home planner, membership subscription reminder worksheet. I have spent the past year trying to go through all of our subscriptions to pretty much remove them. I canceled all of our streaming services, and I do still have a couple of subscriptions for homeschool related stuff, but I do want to make sure I have a list and then, you know, really evaluate whether or not I need them or not. My budget category organizer, which again, I still have to write out what each category means, what will be included. Financial plan goal worksheet, no spend monthly tracker. I thought this would be fun because I am trying to do the no spend. I don't have any rules or exceptions at the moment. That's something I'm hoping to figure out in the next couple of days. And then a January cash envelope breakdown. I don't know if I will end up using this or not, but I did print it out just in case. Then a paycheck bill tracker, which essentially I think is like how she does her budgeting. But then I did print out the monthly cash flow plan from Dave Ramsey, so I don't know if this will work or this will work, or I'll just do my Excel spreadsheet. And then let's see, I didn't print double-sided on some of these. Then I have expense trackers. I have one for our checking, one for cash, and then one for the credit card, which is how we tend to pay for most things. I don't know, we'll probably be changing some of that. Monthly budget category breakdown. So this goes back to the budget categories, where I will write all of these categories and then figure out where the money went. And then that is the end. So that is where I'm going to leave off today. It's about 1 o'clock. I did spend a little bit more time doing stuff today than I normally do. Well, I worked for a couple of hours this morning, and then we took a lunch break and I was doing some other stuff. I just finished this budget binder thing. I'm going to write out our budget, and then I should be done for the day. It's sometimes a little bit more at the end of a year, which is, if you saw my yearly reset video, you will know that I did a bunch of planning then as well. But just getting all of my planners set up and trying to get on track with the new habits that I want to implement in the new year, it's a lot of work, and that is totally okay. I think that as I get into the end of January and I do my reset again, going into February, I think it'll be a little bit more streamlined. Typically, once I start the year and I have my systems in place, it's not difficult, but because I am changing some of my planning process and doing a little bit more with budgeting this year and financial planning, it's maybe just a little bit more. But so thank you so much for joining me with my monthly reset. If you have questions, please let me know in the comments. If you like this video, please give it a thumbs up, and I will see you in the next one. Thanks, guys. Bye.